Hello, this is your SAP SME Dennis Horvath, and today I'm presenting the second part of the SAP terms. We're going to cover the SAP front ends, the ways SAP communicates, and briefly discuss the demos and the demo environment. Let's get started. So what type of user interfaces does SAP offer? Well, the most popular is the SAP GUI. This is a fat client that comes in two flavors, one for Windows and one built on Java for Linux and Mac. Navigation in the SAP GUI is simple with drop-down menus. They are grouped by type and can be accessed directly with what SAP calls transaction codes, or T codes for short. These T codes are what we can track and show up on our controller as BTs. SAP has also released a web-based version of this GUI called the Web GUI. And although it looks like the SAP GUI, it does have limitations and therefore is hardly used. The third option is meant for users that just need to run reports. This is called Web Dimpro. Another report-only interface is called the SAP Portal, which I mentioned earlier. Then finally, the latest and what SAP considers the greatest front end is Fiori. This can be run on any device, is tile-based, and is installed by default on SAP's HANA installations. Our EUM monitoring covers all of these except for the SAP GUI, but we can cover T-code metrics. Now let's talk about the different types of communication SAP uses. We will start with the most used one, called an RFC, or remote function call. There are 5 types of RFCs, all listed here, and because of the important role RFCs play in an SAP environment, we created an out-of-the-box dashboard just for them. This one was just updated and now includes QRFCs. RFCs also show up in our flow maps. The other types of communication SAP uses is a BAPI, or Business Application Programming Interface, and ALE, called Application Link Enabling. SAP created its own standard transaction format, which is similar to XML and called IDOC, which stands for Intermediate Document. This is used for containing and sending information, and although SAP did create it, non-SAP systems can use it as well. Obviously, monitoring RFCs and IDOCs are very important. That's why we provide each of them with their own out-of-the-box dashboard. Finally, for the Java system, SAP uses a Java connector called SAP JCode. As some of you know, we use SAP's own statistics from transaction STAD to pull our metrics from. This is done as to not add any additional overhead to the system. We also use other helpful transactions for troubleshooting inside SAP, like SM21 for system logs, ST22 for systems done. The key here is the way we display the information is much more readable. For instance, a short dump from ST22 is a 6-page document that an SAP basis admin would have to go through to find the issue, as opposed to the way AppDynamics does it and just pull out the surrounding information just to keep the stuff that matters most, like the line of code and the program name. Finally, for a Java system, the main tool to read is called the default trace log. This concludes our basic SAP terms videos. Now that you're familiar with these terms, you should be able to ask better questions and ultimately understand the customer's environment better. Please visit our demo blocks for example demo scenarios that are now on the Demo 1 controller. Thank you for your time, and as always, if you have questions, please reach out to SAP Intel at appdynamics.com.